time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine, while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring.
Yeah, just running a quick test here. Yeah, making sure the audio is okay. Having a little technical glitch tonight. So we'll be starting shortly, just running a little test.
We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline, but when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon. Maybe by the next full moon. Although management can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis. Less stress on the economy. You want Manchester hold up the country? You didn't see us down by the brewery when they sent SSU to beat we. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a long time grenade I need to food. You think politician good? Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But who will restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth. And I'm counting no.
All right, folks.
Politicians.
Now 12 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. We're sorry for the late start, but we're having some internet problems tonight for some strange reason.
With $1 million house and brand new car.
But that can't stop the show. We're going tonight, yeah? No weapon forged against us will ever prosper.
We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, So you the people say, next election, not me stain that finger. Cause after we say enough from Jonah, here comes still with more pressure and hunger. And from the mouth of Grenada, only one thing.
So you all gotta pop back in here. I kinda, because we had to restart. I've lost all the people that were chatting on the. I'm seeing that you all are on, but the last messages you have are gone. So you'll have to jump back in, hit me a message, and let me know that you're there.
When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. By the way, what will be your theme for the next campaign? It can never be about change again.
All right, so Unison, Peter, Betty Ann, and Donna, you're over there on the Facebook. Betty Ann, yeah. I'm saying it's a Charmaine. Good night to all of you. Yeah, we're just having a little technical difficulty there. The thing start and it stop and it start and it stop and it start. No, I know I didn't lose you all. You're still connected, but I lost the chat from where you were speaking, yeah? But we're on now.
But I know you will like this poem, for this poem is a problematic poem.
Yeah, I've got to have that checked out again, you understand? Yeah, just making sure that everything is running clearly right. I believe it is, but just making sure.
Please don't forget, I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not here.
And as we say, it's 14 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. We're not going to stick tonight, yeah? Because remember, this is our final show for this week. Yeah. And just in case, because I didn't say it before, I was explaining why we're starting late. My name is Sheldon Scott. Today is the first day of December 2022. Yes, we're into the first day of the last month of the year. Yeah, 2022 went like that before we could even blink. Yeah, I still hearing fireworks bursting on, going off on New Year's night. And already we're looking down the barrel of 2023. And folks, we're also looking at, on Monday, there's going to be the presentation of the 2023 budget. So that's going to be taking place on Monday. Still trying to make up my mind if I'm broadcasting it. There have enough people to broadcast the thing for them yet.
For everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason.
I definitely will be recording it.
So I think it's prime time.
You know, last night they had a meeting in St. George Northwest. Yeah, Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette. They had a meeting in St. George Northwest last night, and I heard certain statements were made. But here what they do, they make sure and they delete the live because they're afraid talking points get a hold of that video. So they make sure and they delete the live. Yeah, so listen, fool me once, shame on. Fool me twice, shame on. Nice. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure that never happens again. Yeah? Because they delete it. Because I was hearing back from some people that certain statements were made in that meeting last night in Northwest, especially certain statements by Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph. So they removed that live. So while you're afraid, so a little talking points. Come now, man. Hey, watch. Listen, Sheldon Scott at live.com. Send me a copy of the thing now. You're not afraid. If you're not afraid to say it, you're not afraid that I hear it, then you shouldn't say it. So the mere fact that what you said, you all had to run now and delete the live, says a lot. Yeah, we already now hearing from you all, and when you go and you have the opportunity now to put information out to the Grenadian people, bam, you delete it. What you delete it for? Let me check it again, because I was checking earlier. And I was checking the Jonathan Lacrette page. And it was, as far as I saw, yeah, it's gone. The live from last night, what you afraid, so? What you afraid? A little thing all you had there? All you delete the thing? Nah, man. All you moving, so? I don't like that, man.
The cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of...
So let me see who is on. As I said, yes, hit me up. Nice. I've seen everything now. Good. Nice. So I'm seeing David Lane, Christine Otley, Gemma, Baby Daddy, Faith Lynn, Kathleen, Gavin, Ann, Christopher, Afi, Marilyn, Hillary, Winston, Kathy, Clive, Matthew. Yeah, I'm seeing all of you in on the live. So I hope that you all are having a wonderful night tonight. Winston, I don't know if you have it in shooting. Kathy's asking a good question. I know sometimes you just record them thing, yeah?
Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please.
Hey, Matthew, yeah, just be safe, brother. We know you're listening and you're walking and things, but make sure that you're listening, eh? What afraid for? Why all you're deleting live? All you're supposed to be the group of individuals that say all you're going to be open and transparent and all you're going to speak to us on all different types of issues. So if you have a public forum and you have a live and certain statements were made, why, Senator Lacrette, why are you and your other members deleting the live? Put it back up. We want to hear. While you're hiding. While you're hiding. Put it up.
Throughout Grenada, 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, whole of the country. You don't see us down by the brewery when they send SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease. That's the way it is.
All right, so from now on, anytime we have talking points going on and they have one of those forums, we're going to have somebody have to tell us, and we're going to dedicate somebody to make sure that it is recorded live. Yeah, because they think they could run, but they can't hide. And eventually we must get it. Yeah.
You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they're close.
Are you afraid? Joyce, good night. And how is Trinidad doing? You know, you all had a lot of flooding taking place over the past week. In fact, for the past months. And this is some of the worst flooding I've seen down there. Well, ever since. I've never known it to be flooding like that. All I've got caiman swimming in the street and all kind of thing. That's weird, man.
Hoping you'll strain, but you're not refrain. You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh.
Lola B. Devon Romaine.
Jonah, lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth.
Yeah, Linda Imelda Francois. Good night to you as well. Arlene Williams, good night. Folks, remember to like and share the live. Like and share the live.
Comes for Judy and Nancy Payne.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I often listen to Shaggy's program nearly every morning. I tend to pay attention to Shaggy's program. And as most of us know, once a month, if you're listening to Shaggy's program all the time, you'd realize at least once a month, he is out. There's certain things that he has to do on a monthly basis that he is out for that day or two. And there are certain individuals that choose that specific day when he's out to call. Yeah? And they called this morning and they're speaking about, they want to thank the NDC administration so much for the emergency. The emergency room at the General Hospital, you know. These people hypocrite bad, boy. Now, let me give you a little rundown on this. They're thanking the NDC and saying, the doctors and the nurses smiling because they're in the new emergency setting and so on, and they went up there, and everybody's so happy. All right. 1, the structure was built by the new National Party after the National Democratic Congress left the steel structure to rust. They left it there. The NNP, and I could proudly say we, came back in 2013 and ensured work was restarted on that facility. So that now, together with the trust, you can have the best CT scanner in the Southern Caribbean housed there. You also have the new X-ray unit and all of that, the labs and everything stored there, records over there. And you have the accident and emergency over there now, from what I'm hearing. I haven't been up there for a little while. And knock on wood, I hope I don't have to go up anytime soon. But from what I'm hearing. So to try and give the praise to the NDC and do nothing. Accident and emergency, and there are several press conferences where this was mentioned. accident and emergency was moving over there. And they have been moved over there. Yeah? So now, you want to praise the NDC for that? Number one, the NDC, they lead the place to rust. They used to stand up in tongue and point it because you could see it from all by the bus terminal. Can me a lie? They used to point it from all by the bus terminal and say, look where Keith Mitchell and Bowen Lee for all you. And they have it up there rusting. The NNP had to come in and come and do it. Come and get everything sorted out properly. And now you want to praise the NDC for it? Praise the NDC for paying the nurses late. You have nurses being paid last month. You have many nurses that got paid on the 3rd the last month for the previous month. They start back with the late paying thing again. You have nurses again who only got their salary yesterday night. Last night, yesterday evening. That's when it went onto their accounts. And then they're trying to blame the poor financial institutions. Let me tell you this. They lie. The financial institutions operate in this way. Generally, the government has accounts in like the major banks and so. All right? And if you are banking with the bank that they are banking with, I don't want to call names to show any partiality, but if you are banking with the bank that the government is banking with or that they're drawing on that account, the bank usually just deposits your salary immediately. So the moment they get that list from government, they put your salary through. That's why people before were being paid on the 26th and the 27th of the month. Because the moment they got that list, that order from government to pay, they would pay the people that have been sent down, the list of people that would be sent down, they would pay immediately. The same with some of the credit unions. I know of at least 2 credit unions. The moment they get that list from the government of Grenada, because it's a list that they get along with other instructions, when they receive that, they immediately place that money into your account. Not 2 and 3 days. And I could name one of the credit unions, Ariza, for instance. In their instance, I will name them. I know, for instance, when Ariza receives the notification from government, they immediately place it onto your account. So to come and try to blame the credit unions and blame the banks, no, don't try that one. All you that mess up. All you that mess up. And if you're messing up now, that you had a full month and you're paying late, then we're going on for the Christmas in 2 weeks. Because you had to pay by the 15th again. In the next 14 days or so, there has to be a salary paid to public workers again. And the pensioners, remember, it's not just public workers. It's public workers and pensioners, inclusive of the 500 plus new pensioners. Welcome to the club. That they have to find at least $500,000 by my estimation. Maybe I could be going a little too high. Maybe I'm going a little too low. I'm not sure, but I'm estimating it's about another 500,000, $500,000 they're going to have to find to add to pension payments. At least that's what I know. And they have to find that in 14 days. You had a whole month, you pay late. You had a whole month before, you pay late. Good night, Shirley. Yeah, I'm seeing you and Stephen there. Nice. Good night to you all. Yeah, you had a whole month and you pay late. So last month was the 3rd. At least they improved this time. They get on the last dates of the 30th. But that's what's been taking place. And strange enough, people haven't been saying much. Yeah, they're getting the thing late, but they ain't saying much. Right? You see? They says, what's the song they sing in Trinidad? You get the government you deserve. But not everybody deserve it. And then it throws people off because in some instances, remember, the money that goes into the account, they go towards loan payments and so that are usually slated for on the 28th, the 29th of the month or so, or the 30th of the month and so. So if you're paying people on the 3rd or they're getting their money on the 1st and so, those loan payments are not being made on time, so a red mark is placed against you by the lending institution. Which is why the New National Party always made sure that by the 27th, 28th of the month, or according to how the week falls, you could even get paid as early as the 26th of a month. not the 3rd of the following month. And it's not saying that just to make them look bad, but you want them to listen and understand how this goes, because we know some of them really care how poor people that survive. But some people that survive by having to take a little loan in the credit union or a little loan with the bank and that sort of thing. And when you do this sort of thing, as you pay them late, you are damaging their credit rating. You're making it more difficult for them down the line, especially with those financial institutions whose head offices are off island. They don't care is that the government pay late. All they see is that this person over a 3-month or 4-month period has been late with their payments. So they don't care about that. So you have to ensure that people are paid on time. All right, that's just a basic responsibility. We have to go back to that again. That was prior to 2013, and we're going back there again, man. Come on, seriously.
You list the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Yellow, yellow, all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house gets yellow, bus gets yellow, man gets yellow.
And you know, yeah, Colette, you have a point there, because if they're having problems right now making monthly payments, how in the hell these people intend to do bi-monthly payments? Bi-weekly payments, not bi-monthly, bi-weekly payments. In other words, paying every 2 weeks. You can't get paying on a monthly basis in order. You can't do that properly yet. You're looking to go every 2 weeks, and you can't even do a month properly. And then I think they gave a 6-month to 1 year time span within which they're supposed to implement that. In my mind, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Because if you're working for $2,000, if it was a case that you was getting $2,000 every fortnight instead of $2,000 every month, then I'd be excited. But all that's going to happen is that you're going to get $1,000 on the fortnight and $1,000 at the end of the month. So it's the same amount of money. It's just spread over shorter periods of time and smaller amounts over shorter periods of time. So I'd be excited and think, because I think some people actually thought that, that hey, I'm receiving let's say $2,500 a month, and I'm going to receive $2,500 at the end of the first fortnight, and then $2,500 at the end of the second fortnight. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to receive $1,250 at the end of the first fortnight and $1,250 at the end of the second fortnight. Of course, minus your NIS payments and those sort of things. And if you have union dues and those kind of things to pay, minus all of that. But some people thought actually that they was getting the same salary they're getting at the end of the month, but just getting it twice a month. You may say no, some people, yeah, there were actual people that believe that is what was taking place, that they would be receiving actually 2 salaries of the same amount that they're receiving now over the period of a month. But that's not the case. Yeah, but they would never have explained that to them because they want to keep them in the same thing. They want to keep them thinking along the same lines, in the same way that they did with the pensioners. And they had pensioners there thinking that they qualify and not explaining to them under the 1958 Act, these are the people that qualify. Under the various other little agreements that were signed and laws that were signed for prison officers and police officers and so on, teachers, these are the rules. This is how you qualify. They just gave the impression to everybody that yes, we're doing a pension and everybody's going to receive a pension now. So obviously, the average Grenadian and even the non-average Grenadian is not going to go and find the 1958 law and read it, like I have done. They wouldn't go and find that law and read it. So they wouldn't know that, hey, when these people talk about pension and government giving pension, they're not speaking about me because I'm in the private sector. I'm not in the public sector. I've not made 26 3/4 years within the public service. Yeah, and even if I've worked in the public service, I may not have worked in a pensionable position. Or even if I worked in a pensionable position, I may not have worked there for the period of time that is required for me to receive a pension. Which is why the new National Party several years ago placed a special pension in place for these categories of workers who worked within the public service but did not make the number of years or there was another issue that this person who worked a lot of years in the public service was not qualified for pension, that they could be qualified under that special pension. I believe they would take the information and they would put it to cabinet. There were some instances that you could request to join your terms of service, because there were people who were working in the public service here in Grenada all through the 80s into the 90s. They left Grenada, probably went to Canada or the US or the UK or even regionally, worked in some other country, then came back to Grenada after 4, 5 years, 10 years, came back and started working with the public service again. But under the old act, it means that they had broken service, so they started anew. So you couldn't take the two and put it together and say, well, we take the 15 that you worked before and the 16 that you work now and we add them together and qualify you. No, that wasn't. The New National Party put a law in place so that could be done. So this kind of thing, they tried to give the impression NNP didn't want to pay pension. And then I see there's some kind of nonsense ad. I don't know if you all have heard it. I'm not going to play it here. But I don't know if you all have heard that ad that they have out right now. Finally, they find something for the press secretary to do for that alleged $10,000 she's receiving a month. Good night, press secretary. I know they're going to tell you if you're not listening, and most likely you're listening. So good night to you. Yeah. So they put out this nonsense ad, giving the impression now that, hey, we've made the payment and we've transformed Grenada by the payment. Listen to something carefully here. The New National Party would also, if it had won the election, paid pensions. The same pensions that they paid, because there's a court ruling. So you can't avoid the court ruling and not pay. So any government that formed any party that formed the government had a responsibility under the court ruling to pay the pensions. The New National Party ensured, even before the court ruling, that the money was there to pay it. The issue wasn't the paying of the pension. The issue was the formula used to pay the pension. That's what they tried to give you the impression that people had to go to court to have pension paid. They lie. Read the case for yourself. The issue is not paying pension. It's the calculation, whether you're going to use the calculation of 1958 or you're going to use a new calculation where you top up through the NIS, which is a contributory pension. Because if you're using the 1958, remember, nobody has anything coming out of the salary going towards that. But you use the NIS where they had something coming out of their salary, because all of these people, all 500 and so that are qualified now, they also qualify under the NIS. You've heard Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister, saying that. You've also heard Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph saying the same thing. Yeah? So you've heard both of them saying that these people now qualify for two pensions. So they're still going to get the NIS pension, and they're going to now get the 1958 pension. So the discussion was whether you could set aside the 1958, work with the NIS, but top up to a certain amount under the NIS so that people could be paid. But they're trying to say NNP went to court to stop pensions. That is not true. That is an absolute lie. And anybody with common sense who has the ability to read and understand could know that. And anybody that reads what was stated in the court and so on would know for a fact that it was never a case of the NNP not wanting to pay pensions. But they have this nonsense ad out and they're praising the government. What are you praising the government for? And here's what. They could have paid the pension earlier than they paid it. But they use the tactic of paying the pension now. You know why? Let me see if anybody could tell me the reason why within the chat that they chose this point in time to pay the pension. Koi, good night. Yeah. And I'm seeing you there, Stephanie, John, and Natalia. Tell your husband good night for me. I hope he's having a wonderful night tonight. Yeah, Earl Benjamin, good night to you as well. Yeah, Gemma the Welfred, that is why Laco and them delete the live. Because they're afraid that we get a copy of that live, and if we get a copy of that live, it's blows in the clothes. So they're afraid they delete it because they don't want the talking point crew to get more talking points out of the nonsense they're consistently speaking. So they delete the live. And I want everybody to know they delete it. And they could go and delete the whole thing now, because it shows that the content is no longer available. Go on your page and delete it now, Laco. Yeah? You could go now and try and get rid of it. Nice? But I'm telling you, the reason that they pay the pensions now is because what happens in Grenada during the months of November into December, naturally, during the months of December and November, you have an increase in construction in Grenada. Throughout the Caribbean, as Caribbean people, we tend to want to fix up our place for Christmas and the New Year. You don't want to go into Christmas with the same curtains. If you're doing a little work on the house, you want to do it during that period of time. That's why productivity in some sectors drops around this time, because people tend to try to stay home because I want to paint that room, or I want to fix the roof, or I want to redo the ceiling, or I want to fix over the veranda. So naturally, and you can ask anybody that's running anything to do with businesses to do with construction, that at this time of year, there's usually a little spike in relation to construction activity in Grenada. Pension or no pension, there is always a spike in the months of November and December when it comes to construction and the selling of building materials and so in Grenada. The only other time you have that sort of spike is after a hurricane. But other than that, during the months of the November and December is when you have a spike in construction naturally. All right? Nice.
Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking, busy neglecting, busy inflicting poverty and hunger throughout Grenada. 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong, strong, strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, hold up the country. You didn't see us down by the brewery when they sent SSU to beat we. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't say.
Yeah, so they can give the impression that this time of year that they are the ones that causing all of this to be taking place. No, that's a natural thing. You have your relatives coming from the States or from Canada or from wherever. You have your relatives coming down. You want your place to look good. You want your place to look nice and so on. So the little tile work that had to be done, you would make sure that the tiles are fixed and that kind of thing. The little painting that have to be done. The little repairs that have to be done to your house and so on. You make sure that it's done when we come into November and December. In fact, some people start in October. But generally, you see a general push. If you go to the hardware, you realize a lot of people there. The plumbing, the water that dripping under the sink, whole year. Christmas can come and meet that. That's just how we are as Grenadians. That's how we are as Caribbean people, because the same takes place in Trinidad, all the way up to Jamaica, Bahamas, Bermuda, wherever. That's the way we Caribbean people are. We do this sort of thing this time of year. You see the trucks passing, and you see the trucks passing with the new fridge, the new furniture, all that sort of thing. That isn't because of any pension. That is natural thing that takes place when the months of November and December reach in the state of Grenada. People buy the new mattress. I ain't want a mattress again. Christmas, you take me with that mattress. You get your little bonus around this time of year in some instances. I mean, last year, people get a nice bonus. I know if the government looking to give a nice little bonus on the 15th day. Come on, I mean, the New National Party do it last year, and you might get it this year again. Yeah, frontline workers get a nice little top-up there, and the rest of the public service got a nice little bonus last year. I didn't see this government making any moves towards a bonus, and they can't say they didn't meet money. They meet enough money there, all right? So, but they ain't talking about that. But usually around this time of year, you see the quartz truck passing, dropping fridge, TV, stove, washing machine. You see the people in the Asian business community, the little vans and so them little Noah going around. Sometimes you see them going. They have about four mattress tie on top, plus they have chairs and all kind of thing going on top of that, going different places, busy as a bee. That's why what took place on the port threw off a lot of people. So trying to give the impression that all the activity taking place now is because of the pension payment, they put an ad. And here what they do. They know that Shaggy's program is one of, if not the most popular program on the island. So here's what they do. Just before Plead Your Cause start, they put the ad there. And then they put it on certain other radio stations at key times to reach the key audiences. So the press secretary finally finds something to do. Try and fool you. Yeah? But that is generally how it is. This time of year, you see that sort of activity. So don't try to tell me that, oh, so-and-so get pension, and that is why my son get a work. Stupidness. Dunceness. Who you fooling with that? This is November. Well, that was November. We're in December now. So that happens. You're telling me many of those people in the public service who are getting the money now, even though they're getting it a little late in many instances, that these people are not going to take the money and go and try to nice up a little bit, pass by Citizens Paints or one of those wherever and get some paint, that they're not going to go down and say, well, let me get some lumber, let me fix over the veranda. That part of the roof day, I have a little extra money. I can't let Christmas morning meet me like that. That's just nature. That's just our nature as a Caribbean people. Even if, because I know some people that are not even Christian. And these people also go through the same motions. And so when it comes to Christmas and the New Year, I don't want the New Year take me looking like that. I don't want the New Year take my place looking like that. So they fix up. So you pay the pension at that time. And then you try to say the activity that always takes place is taking place because you pay pension. Total unadulterated nonsense. It would have to be a situation where I am going to the hardware stores and there is nothing there because everything sell out. It would have to be a situation like that for me to believe that the pension is the cause of any of the normal economic activity that takes place at this time of year. Folks, the phone lines are open 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program.
We've waited in vain, hoping you...
So I want to know if public workers are getting a double or if they're getting a half. If they're getting a bonus, I mean, they get bonus last year, you can't do less, you know. You gotta nice them up, talking on the behalf, especially the policemen and policewomen for continuing to do the excellent job they're doing, especially the people in the medical fraternity, from the nurses to the pharmacists, all of them who continue to do an excellent job. Give them a little top up now. So who they really feel they're fooling with this stupid ad they go and put out there? Who they really feel I laugh at it.
Feelings away, be more objective, I say. Even if it's hard, we still have to try. We have to recognize the conditions that brought us so.
As I said, 440-7377. It's now 46 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the beautiful Spice Isle of Grenada. Yeah, the nights are getting longer and colder. My time of year.
That's right.
And surprisingly, we spoke about it here, and now I realize that the Integrity Commission, they've received the declarations on behalf of the Prime Minister, and I see they said 2 other parliamentarians. I don't know why the rest didn't go in and do the thing. So I don't know if they had nothing to declare, but you must have something to declare, because even if you have nothing, you have to declare that you have nothing. And just remember when all declaring, make sure all declare right, you know, because I know in another country a parliamentarian end up in jail for not a former prime minister in another country end up in jail, you know, because his declaration was false, was weighed and measured and found to be one thing. Because remember, you have to ensure that you declare, and I will go over that in a little while. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello, good night. You're live, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
Good night.
Good night.
It's alleged. I heard that one of the government minister handed his resignation and the prime minister rejected.
Well, I've been hearing those kind of stories for the past few months. I don't know if it's true or if it is untrue. But ants don't always bring wrong news, eh?
That's why I said it's alleged.
Yeah, no? I like that word, eh? It is alleged.
All right.
Because,
Have a good night.
all right, and you're calling from where? Hello? Oh, she's gone already. Nice. Yeah, sometimes I like to know where people calling from. Nice, good. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that certain people bringing the amount of people I hear bringing resignation, I get sent back already because they say they didn't know this thing was so much stress. They don't know how Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and his ministers used to do it. So they didn't know this thing was so much stress. So the amount of them I hear bringing all kind of resignation and thing before it was rejected. But you would never find out for sure unless that person decides they're leaving for sure and then they come out and say, well, I had bring in a resignation before and they didn't take it. The person themselves had to come out and talk. Yeah, so it is alleged. Because I heard that allegation as well, eh? Yeah, I also heard that. So I'm saying, yeah, they put out an ad. I don't know who they think they're fooling with that ad. Yeah, they ain't fooling us. 4407377. Yes, Kelvin. They also buy a lot of stuff for the children, toys and new clothes and all that sort of thing. There is generally an economic boom in Grenada between the middle of November coming down to the end of December. And then when December ends, everything drop off, bam. Because people ain't bothering with that again. They complete what they have to complete and so they ain't really going down to say they're doing this and that again. Let's take this call. Good night. Hey, what's up?
I'm there, man. I'm there.
Are you ready for tomorrow or what? By Jalai and Shop?
Yeah, we're ready for tomorrow, man.
All right.
Yeah, Brother Sheldon. Brother Sheldon, I heard the government talk about transformation. And when I look through the country, what you have seen, instead of things get better, things getting worse. Right? And like I was 7 or 8 factor, everything getting worse. The high level of corruption, the bad road infrastructure, record increase of full charge, victimization, intimidation, a high unemployment, high rate of criminal activities, increase in the homicide. Brother Shell, all these things go ahead because people get frustrated. Right? We don't encourage it, but when people walk in and they lose the job for no reason at all, either they do things that is not right, and they could end up in jail. And when I look at the action, say, is this the transformation the government has about? Transformation is something that should be from one stage to other stage in development. But what do you see? Instead of we go forward, we're going back. So I don't think if we transformation backward. Right?
Well, they talk about transformation, but they also speak about transition and transition leads. And as I have said before, transitions is death news on GBN, so you know what I was talking about.
Exactly. And Brother Sheldon, if you check back the record in 2008, what if I have the same thing that they did? Send home the Imani workers, promise was made to the senior citizens to pay them, right? They send them some of take out some of the senior citizens on the list just to give $50. $50 more, right? Look again, you have men who was working in the bank. They leave the bank and end up going to the hotel, working for $20 some $1,000 a month. Advisors were getting big sum of money, and while they send them all the money. So you see the same thing again happen, Brother Sheldon. Advisors and transfer lead, everybody, all the old heads get coming back. But what happened to the youth? Where it are? What plan they have? This government has for the youth. What plan they have? You don't see nothing. So how have they and what there any plan to generate any income? You don't hear nothing about that, right? I know something like I was watching something in America, midterm election in America, and Trump was say like if a Republican do very well, is because of he. But if they do very bad, he has nothing to do with that. And when I look at everything that's going on in the country, and they have this government has no part to put in it, they don't take praise for it. Because if you check what I share, like, what's happening? There are some people, they have some money, but they have to spend. Especially when here October, we'll see September, October, month come, they squeeze. Because sometimes they're not sure if they're going to be working. Right? And sometimes the last So you see, they settle by things. That have whatever is not nothing to do with what the government did for them. They have the money stored up, right? So, Brother Sheldon, have a blessed night.
All right, thank you very much. And I mentioned something earlier and I lost my trend of thought on it. And it was in relation to the Integrity Commission. So before I take our next call, let me get this point out. Now, the Tillman Thomas administration spoke about integrity in public life and anti-corruption and all that sort of thing. The government that he led did absolutely nothing in relation to that. In fact, the Integrity in Public Life Act had been drafted before the 2008 general election. The Anti-Corruption Act and so were drafted before that. It was not touched during that period of time at all. It took the new National Party to come back in 2013. And one of the very first acts that we passed, as we promised in the 2013 campaign, was the Integrity in Public Life Act and various bits of legislation in relation to anti-corruption, right? Things like the act in relation to providing services to government, and so the name of it is slipping me right now. But several acts. After that, the first thing that Dr. Mitchell did is he made sure that he was the first one, because I'm seeing a sort of little NDCite, those tongue waggers out there right now, trying to give the impression like if Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is the first one to ever declare his assets. Well, here's what. He hasn't even declared his assets because he hasn't declared it publicly as Dr. Mitchell did. So see class and see who is. Anyway. But Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell ensured that he led from in front. He was the very first to declare his assets to the Integrity Commission. After he did that, he stepped out of the office and he publicly declared how much money he had. Now, Dr. Mitchell was successful in his business, scholastic, and private life before becoming Prime Minister of Grenada. So he made the declaration of $19 million. Yeah? He publicly made, he said, I don't have nothing to hide. And the Integrity Commission had the account numbers of all the accounts that he holds. Right? So they were able to double check that. But here's what. Under the Integrity in Public Life Act, because the people who submitted theirs today and those to submit over the next few days, don't make no mistake with it. Because there are serious penalties if you make any false declarations. You have to declare your bank accounts. If you are married, your wife or your husband's accounts, all of their accounts in whatever bank or credit unions that they have, it must be declared, the account numbers and the amount of money in those accounts. Whether local, regional, or international. You have an account in another island or another country, you have to declare that too to the Integrity Commission. They need to know all that information. That is the law that we put in place. I was in Parliament when it was put in place, so they can't tell me about it. I could explain it to them. Any children that you have under the age of 18, their accounts as well, whether it's here in Grenada, whether it's in Canada or the States or wherever, it could be in Australia, it could be in Japan or Russia, wherever they have a bank account, be it a savings union in the school, you have to give the account number and the amount of money in that account at the time of making a declaration. If you have any loans with any institutions, you have to declare that to the Integrity Commission. Right? Same with your wife too, or your husband too. You have to declare whatever loans they have. You have to declare if you have a vehicle or vehicles. You have to declare that. And if you had a vehicle and you sold it anytime within the last 3 years, or you had land and property and you sold it within the last 3 years, even if you buy it and just sell it 2 months after, or buy it today and sell it tomorrow, you have to declare it. Yeah? And all of that is to avoid corruption in public life. So they have, because I've got my document back from the Integrity Commission. Yeah? Right now, none of them who in government now could say that. 3 alone declared today. I've heard it was the Honorable Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, the Honorable Joseph Handel, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Honorable Dennis Cornwall. Well, I can't remember what ministries he have because he and all of us can't even remember it. So I can't remember what ministries he has. But those were the 3 that declared today. So Brother Andy had to go and declare. And he has to declare if he owing anybody. For instance, if he had part in a business, and I'm just speaking rhetorically here and saying that just in case you had a situation that you was owing the GDB a couple hundreds of thousands of dollars, the Grenada Development Bank, that has to be declared to the Integrity Commission. And just speaking rhetorically again, if a loan was applied for there, you have to declare that to the Integrity Commission, whether it's 3 million or whatever, that has to be declared to the Integrity Commission too. And I'm just speaking generally here about the kind of things that they're looking for at the Integrity Commission. I ain't say that is what happening. I ain't say the man had nothing there. I say, if Brother Andy has that kind of thing, he had to declare it. If he had children, even if there were saving unions in school, he had to declare that. All your property that you own or have disposed within the last 3 years. Yeah? All of that has to be declared to the Integrity Commission. So I see some of them jumping up like if Deacon Mitchell is the best ever because he declared to the Integrity Commission, oh, man of integrity. Okay, how much is he worth? Tell me that. Did he come out and say to the Grenadian people, this is how much money I have? Or he hiding that? He ain't find that it's all your business. Dr. Mitchell says all your business. He come out and he tell all you, this is the amount of money he had. The other person who came out was, I think, Ray Roberts. Then Senator Ray Roberts. I think he declared the amount of money he had. He said, I just had a couple thousand. No, he mentioned the figure. He said, that's what I had. So Ray Roberts came out and he said, but can you say that for the now Prime Minister? Has he come out and declared openly, I have declared my assets to the Integrity Commission. This is how much land, vehicles, properties I own. These are my bank accounts locally, regionally, internationally, out in space, under the water. These are what I have. Because even if you have cash at home, as some people tend to have cash at home, large amounts of cash at home, and things like jewelry that worth a lot of money and that sort of thing in a safe, you have to declare that as well. Don't declare it, and you're in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act. So when you put yourself up for public office, know that you also put yourself up for scrutiny. But you see, some of them don't want to speak about that because they don't want their people to be under scrutiny. They only want to scrutinize everybody else. But this is what the Integrity in Public Life Act says. And you just read the side that deal. I ain't going to say it tonight. Check the part that deal with penalties and know when you go honestly. Because I know there was at least one person there. 1, 2, 3. I think 3 of them that never really had a job before. So I'm really interested in seeing what they're going to declare. But the thing is, if you had nothing, declare nothing. If you have something, no, you declare what you have. But you must be accurate. You must be accurate. And you must give proper information to the Integrity Commission. Because if you slip, you slide. You end up like Basdeo Pandey in Trinidad. His wife, he did not declare an account that his wife held, not even in Trinidad, and the wife had an account in England. And he's saying, doing the declaration, they forget about that account. That had a sizable amount of money in it. They forgot about that account. And he actually went to jail. Yeah, I think the case ended up getting thrown out or something like that in the end. I can't remember what took place at the end with the case. But I remember he actually spent either a weekend or a night or he did spend some time in actual jail because of that. Yeah? So be careful. Be very careful. Yeah? With the declarations that you all have to make now, be very careful. And don't think it's only those that ran and win a seat that have to declare their assets. You know, the senators too. So Senator Lacrette, Senator Claudette Joseph, Senator Dave Andrew, Senator, what's her name, Gloria Thomas. Yeah? All of them, Senator Quince Britton, all of them have to declare their assets as well. And I want to know what they're waiting for. An Integrity Commission, let me tell you something. I'm giving free free advice to you all, because I'm going to come to an aspect of what I'm about to say in a short while. Free advice. The phone lines are open again. You can call 4407. Sorry, I forgot to say that. I opened it again. 440-7377. And my friends out in the diaspora there, 347-329-3101. Now, we're speaking about that aspect of things. Integrity Commission and all other agencies. Please, if you're doing something like this, and I know it was not willfully done by you all, but that you all may not understand how the media works in Grenada. When you broadcast such a thing late on a Thursday, I didn't see that notification until nearly midday that it was happening this afternoon. And from the notice that I saw, the impression I got was that all the parliamentarians would have been going in today, starting this morning, and at a certain interval that they were coming in and did their declarations. And so that wasn't the case. I'm hearing now only 3. But also, especially on a month end, when people get paid yesterday, today, tomorrow, and so, nobody ain't listening, no news to go and see who declare assets and that kind of thing, or who didn't declare assets and that kind of thing. It's a bad news time. When you throw things on a Thursday and a Friday, it's because you want to hide it. Hence, we'll come to the other point here. Why was the budget that was announced by the Prime Minister moved from the 7th of December up to the 5th of December? Because had the budget taken place when it was scheduled on the 7th of December, and we have the Prime Minister speaking to that, saying that the budget was coming on the 7th of December, had it been done there, then the Thursday and the Friday had to be given over. No parliament sitting. The Monday morning, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell would have had his opportunity to respond to the budget. What they did not want to happen, and understand the tactics, I'm teaching you the tactics here. What they're doing is that when they do that, they're killing the information that he's coming out with. So when the Prime Minister, right, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, does his budget presentation, his budget speech on Monday, they're going to flood the airways. So radio, TV, the internet, they're going to flood the airways with news. They're going to cut out what they consider to be positive aspects of the budget. And they're going to pound that and dominate the airwaves for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, many of us, and I know all of you listening to this program, are very interested in hearing the reply of the opposition leader. But when Dr. Mitchell replies on Thursday, then you come to Friday with some the different parliamentarians talking. And while what they've done is they're trying to stifle that information from coming out. So Thursday and Friday, people already into Christmas, they turn on, they're listening to this thing, they turn on some parang or some kind of thing, and they're cleaning their house, or they're going about doing the shopping, and they're going and they're doing different things. So they have brought it that late there, placed it like that for the Thursday and the Friday to kill that information coming out to you. Understand the tactics that they're using, because they are afraid of the one-on-one debates. They're afraid of having those discussions. The man who afraid it the most is the one who does tell you, boy, if you only cross that line, I'll give you a lash. He draw a line in the road. He say, if you only come across that line, you'll gain a lash. But he coward, if you cross the line, he draw next one. He say, if you only cross this line, you'll gain a lash. So don't study them and, oh, we asked for debate and all kind of thing. All they didn't want to debate us. Why did they put the first sitting at the House for a day when they knew for a fact that Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell would be unavailable? Now they have shifted the budget from the Wednesday, when they announced that it would be, to the Monday, so that his response would be on the Thursday, which anybody in the media fraternity, and I've spent over 26 years involved in media, which anybody in the media fraternity will tell you is a dead news day. By the time you come Thursday, Friday, that's dead news time. You understand what they're trying to do, which is why it's so very important that when we broadcast the message from Dr. Mitchell, and we give you the information out of what he's saying in relation to the budget, it's so very important that you all take it to heart and share it. It's so very important that you all spread that information. Right? So we're looking forward to the presentation by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell next week, Thursday. All right? And then the presentation by the Honorable Emlyn Pierre, the Honorable Delma Thomas, the Honorable Peter David, the Honorable Clarice Modest Cohen. Yeah? The whole new National Party team, the Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis. So we're looking forward to their presentations next week, Thursday and Friday. After Dr. Mitchell does his presentation, then you have the roster of different speakers speaking down to the end, right? So that will be taking place next week. So we're looking forward to that, all right? But it's also important that you share the information because they're trying to hide it. So in the same way that you've come, and I know many of you have done it already, and those of you who have not done it yet are going to share talking points now. Click, like, share, right? I know all of you are going to do that now. The same way next week, when Dr. Mitchell is doing his presentation, I need you to go through your WhatsApp and send it to everybody. Don't matter what political party they support. Send it to everybody. Send the link. We're going to send the link out. Send it to everybody on your WhatsApp list. Put it on your Facebook profile. All right? Even send text messages if you could. But let everybody know. Knock your neighbor house and say, Dr. Mitchell speaking now. Time for you to listen. Class in session. Children, quiet down. Class in session. Right? So we're looking forward to that next week. It's very important that we pay attention because there are various aspects of this budget that need explanation. There are various questions that need to be asked and answered. There are some figures that need explanation. Yeah? Because I know you all want to know. You've heard from the Honorable Ron Redhead. You've heard from him that there's a situation where the monies for the Imani program will not be there again. We don't know if it will pop up somewhere else, like under the Ministry of Education or somewhere else, but it's been taken out of the Ministry of Youth because if you have an incompetent minister with incompetent advisors, you can't leave that kind of money there. You're just wasting it. Because you have an incompetent minister, ain't it? And you have incompetent advisors advising the minister, so incompetent advising incompetent. So you can't leave the program there, so they move it. All right, you move it. But the trainees are worried. They want to know what's taking place. Come with them come January. Yeah, they're anxious. Many of them use the little stipend that they receive, and they have the little fast cash paying back. Axel Finance, Courts Ready Finance, Grenville Credit Union, Ariza Credit Union, Communal Credit Union. They have their little thing inside there they're paying back, as small as it is. So if you take their means of finance away from them, you're putting them in jeopardy and their credit rating in jeopardy with these financial institutions. So we have to be very careful with that. All right? And folks, it is now 11 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. It's time for me to take my water break. You just have to drink water. You have to remain hydrated. If you don't remain hydrated and thing, you end up in problems. You can't shine like how I'm shining if you're not remaining hydrated. So we're going to take a short break. I'll be right back.
This one public service. Everybody will be made permanent. Nobody going home. Take Susu in you. I don't believe in superstition. Something wrong with that transformation. From the 10 boys drink the water. Strange thing happening in Grenada. 3 houses born in Victoria. 2 born in St. David soon after. David Anderson and his brother. We had suicide and murder. Who tell them drink the water? The transformation water. From the time they drink the water, like they put a spell on Grenada. They wrong to drink the water. The transformation water.
Yeah, folks, and that's why they don't like this program, because we explain it to you. So when you have ended this program, you understand why they do certain things. So remember, the Prime Minister had stated at the last function, was it the budget, not the Parliament, the last thing he was at, he stated that the 7th of December is when budget is taking place. The 7th of December, that was the date that he gave. He asked the 7th, yeah, they said the 7th. 7th of December. Now it's moved to the 5th. So it was bumped up. And the reason was done that way is to kill the focus on the presentation of former Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, leader of His Majesty's opposition, and all the other members of the New National Party side. But not only that, because they know the incompetence of the team that they have, the same way that Lako and them delete the live from last night. Lako all afraid. And Northwest people, when they see him telling me afraid, Sheldon, that is why I delete it. Yeah? Anytime you see him, tell me afraid me. That is why I delete the live. Right? Put it back. Where take it down for? Yeah? And all you're supposed to be transparent and talking to people, put it back. What kind of thing is that? Anyway, so they know that they have a bunch of incompetent people that go talk a lot of nonsense. So they're afraid. They don't want you to listen. Yeah? They don't want you to listen. So we're going to make sure that you hear, and we're going to dissect everything that they say. And we're going to make sure that you hear it. Carriacou and Petit Martinique, a special good night to each and every one of you out there. My good friends out on Petit Martinique, a special good night to you. And those of you on Carriacou, my relatives out there, the Koi family, the Lawrence family, the Duncan family out there in Carriacou, the Aiken family out there in Carriacou. Let me say a special good night to all of you and hope that you all are having a wonderful night tonight.
Get to it, the new house speaker. They should make you Facebook minister. Who tell them drink the water? The transformation water.
Let me ask something. What's really going on with the police exams? Now, when I say the police exams, I'm not speaking about the exams that people who are looking to enter the police force go and write. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the exams that police officers take for upgrade. Because I seem to remember sometime in about April or May that they had some exams. I remember seeing some officers going in to write some exams. I haven't heard the results of those exams in the form of these officers being upgraded. Because you can't tell me that it's taking 6 or 8 months for the Royal Grenada Police Force to go and to go through the exam results. Yeah? That is not CXE. So, I remember seeing several officers going in to do their exams, and that has been since about March, April, somewhere there, I think. No, a little further down. Not March, April. That would be May. April or May. I remember seeing the officers down in the south of the island. I won't give the exact location, going in to do their exams. They passed me on the way going there. And there's supposed to be more exams for different officers because, like, to go up to corporal, you have to take your exam. To go up to sergeant, inspector, whatever, there are exams that you have to do. It's not just somebody come and say, you, we're making you sergeant. No. There's an academic aspect of it where they give you an exam. All right? And that exam isn't taking place. The results are the last ones. I ain't finding hearing anything about it. You're not hearing anything about upgrade for police officers. You're not hearing about police officers now going up in rank. In fact, what you're hearing is that political victimization is now at its height within the Royal Grenada Police Force. That's what you're hearing. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. You're hearing people who they perceive to be supporters of the New National Party ain't getting no rank. They're not getting no stripe. Or they ain't getting to go in khaki. As long as they are perceived to be a supporter of the New National Party who have voted for the New National Party. And worse yet, if they were one of the people that were working closely, like for instance on the detail of the then Prime Minister. You think any of them fellas who was on the detail of the last Prime Minister getting any upgrade? You think any of them getting a rank? Even if they was only there for a few weeks, them fellas ain't getting no rank. And people try and talk left, right, and center. You understand? So what's going on with the Royal Grenada Police Force in relation to the exams that ought to be taking place and should have already taken place? The results should have been out by now, and officers should have been upgraded. What happened? So the officers and them could not get a little bump up in their salary because they get a bump up in their grade to receive a nice Christmas too. These people are working hell hard out there. Hell hard. These same police officers. But instead of that, I mean, anybody saw the acting commissioner of police on TV recently? If you have, send me a message. I haven't paid attention for the last week, but I've been hearing from the acting commissioner. And the last commissioner went on leave, I know, pre-retirement, etc. And you're not hearing anything about that. So while the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force continue to do an excellent job, don't worry. Prisons, we know you all doing it as well. Customs, we know you all doing it as well. All right? So those in the various branches of the Royal Grenada Police Force, whether they're in Rapid Response or SSU, or whether they're in Traffic Department, whether they are in the Criminal Investigation Department, the Predial Larceny Task Force, or whether they're in Immigration or they're in Coast Guard or wherever, they've been doing an excellent job. Yeah? They have been doing an excellent job. So I think it's important to show them that they're doing an excellent job. You had a spike. In relation to crime recently. And due to the excellent job that was done by the rank and file of the Royal Grenada Police Force, nothing else. Listen, I had people from Trinidad telling me when they hear about armed robbery in Grenada, well, it's something you don't hear about. But in the Trinidad context, they were, well, all you lucky, all you ain't catching them fellas and them. So when one told me that within a few hours I was able to tell him, well, catch the first set. And the next fella, don't worry, within 48 hours we're going to know who he is. And then within 48 hours, the next one. So they were surprised because the Royal Grenada Police Force is doing an excellent job. Right? They are doing an excellent job. And as such, we must show them that they are doing an excellent job by ensuring that, one, the exams that have gone before, that it is properly tabulated, and that those who have passed are given the opportunity for that upgrade that they deserve. And that the other officers now who are due to write their exams that keep getting put off and put off and put off for whatever reason, that those exams take place. And these officers are given additional reason, except for that they're living on the island of Grenada, to smile. There's a reason to smile when you live on the island of Grenada. Well, let's give them an additional reason. Let's see that they get their upgrades that they are due to get. All right? So please, and let us know what is going on with the commissioner. I know let us listen to me. Eh? So let us know what is going on with our commissioner, because I know once Commissioner Martin there, Christmas coming up, you already had a press conference saying the Yuletide operations will be such. So the business community feels safe because they know the interaction with the Royal Grenada Police Force is there. They know what's taking place. They know how to interact with them if they have a problem, who to contact, that sort of thing. For the Yuletide operations. Right? But we haven't seen that yet. Today is the 1st of December. Yeah, and you haven't seen that yet. We're already into the Yuletide. Right? This is the shopping period for people. The same period that the NDC is trying to make look now as though they are the ones, due to the pension, that have the place a little busy. No, it has been busy anyway. Because our friends and family overseas, there's the time to send down the little barrel, there's the time to send the little stuff first. Yeah? I know a lot of people thought they was getting free barrel too, but I know nothing about free barrel. As we talking Christmas, let me pass some transformation water again. Eh?
It's one public service. Everybody will be made permanent. Nobody going home. Check Susuinyo. I don't believe in superstition. Something wrong with the transformation. From the 10 boys drink the water. Strange thing happening in Grenada. 3 houses born in Victoria. 2 born in St. David soon after. David Anderson and his brother. We had to... So
folks, I had to be kind of shifting between the two, the Facebook and the YouTube. Eh? And yeah, Matthew, good. I'm glad to know that you made it home safe. Customers asking me, what's the new name of the debushing program? I know NDC have the Send Home program, where they have been sending home people, even though they're saying they ain't send home nobody. But they have the Send Home program. And because it was at such an accelerated pace and they started getting flack from the unions and from everybody, they've decided to decelerate. So they're going to be sending home, but they're going to do it in a trickle instead of a flood now. Right? That's what their intention is, because they're saying that people are blocking their transformation agenda as they transform you from having a little money in the bank into being broke. As they transform you from being employed to being unemployed. As they transform you from a person with common sense, they want to transform you. And I know that wouldn't happen with any of you looking at this program right now and listening to this program. They want to transform you into a person without any sense. Because only a person without any sense would call and say what was said on the radio this morning about, oh, the emergency at the hospital. Thanks to the NDC for doing that. The NDC already ready to abandon what has just been built there because they say they're going to do a new hospital. All well and good. Most governments throughout the Caribbean right now always looking at doing a new hospital because your previous infrastructure existed from during the days when Uncle Gary grandparents was in the Sea Scouts. That's what existed before. Yeah? Here in Grenada, the original structures that we had coming up to the 1990s and so we know that was removed and we have what we have now. And now there's talk now of doing another hospital facility. So that's all well and good. Let's see how it progresses. Let's hear what the plans are so that everyone can buy into it. But then what are you going to do? Sell where we have the hospital now for some tourism project to some CBI investor? What you going to do? I'm just saying things. I ain't saying that's what they're going to do. I'm asking if that's what they're going to do. Are they going to just sell the area where we have the general hospital now to some hotel project and say, well, they're better for a hotel. So they get an investor that want to put $100 million into Grenada and say, well, use there for your hotel project. You're right by the fort and use there. That's what I'm asking. I'm not saying that is what's going to happen. I'm asking. All right. I'm also seeing here. All right. Okay. Yeah. Nimzo, where be your pass? Where you get a promotion? I hear that it have people that go pass the exam and they ain't getting no promotion still. That's why I hear. And don't blame the COP because the COP have nothing to do with it. Yeah, the Commissioner of Police have nothing to do with that. Alright, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Somebody said they're hearing that the COP might return to work on Monday. Well, you know that listen to talking points. They go do what we say. So we say we're not seeing the COP. We're not hearing about the COP. And it's not due to the COP himself. So let's see what's taking place. We want to know that our country will continue to be safe with proper leadership at the helm of the Royal Grenada Police Force. All right? So, folks, the phone number 440-7377, 347-329-3101. That's the overseas line that you can call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. You know, let me play a old tune there, man. I have an old tune I want to play.
Just because I sing it, you got it so. All kind of wrong things what me people know. First they know some walking to one driving. Rumors all over about me they spreading. But I want them to know that I'm conscious is just and bread.
And we have a call online. Good night. Hello. Hey, caller, you're on. Oh boy, I think I messed that one up. You would be listening, call back, because I think the button that I pushed the button to drop a call and not to take a call. So call back, please. All right? Nice. Also, let me ask, what about the police officers who have to get in that money from 1995? And there is a group of police officers that have to get that. I'm not hearing much about what is being done with those police. Or if I'm not talking about the police, yeah, talking about the police and them. Yeah, somebody had to defend them. They can't talk for themselves. There's police officers. There are certain rules. They can't come out and talk. So some people had to talk for them. All right, so I'm talking for them. Nice? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wendy's asking if they could do a hospital in one term. Well, because you know, my general thing to them is take your one term and go. Just take it. Take your one term and go. Enjoy it. 161 days so far. Take your one term and go. Yeah. Yes, we have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Cheryl and Scott.
Hey, good night, Camille Teresa Scott.
Yes, good night. Good night to Grenada, all the lovely people in Grenada, home and abroad, who's listening to Talking Point. Good night. Who coming back to work, Mr. Martin?
Well, I'm hoping so. A little birdie sent a little message to me a while ago and said he should be back on Monday. So I'm hoping that birdie get the information correct.
Well, I don't know. That would be very nice, you know.
But the thing
because
is,
I was saying, Mr. Scott, that because Mr. Mackenzie is a very nice man, because I work with him in the terminal.
So Mackenzie's a nice man, yeah.
But I was saying, if they have him as acting still, they could have tell us, well, okay, Mr. Martin on vacation, update the public then he on vacation, and you know, let us know something, because school children saying that he did in Barbados and he working in Barbados, he get big work day and all kind of thing. And I don't like gossip. No. I don't like gossip, Mr. Scott. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if Mr. Martin is coming back, that'll be very nice. You know? That'll be very nice, because he's a man I like, you know. And I know around now, over the years, when it's Christmas time, he always pass in the terminal and speak to the busmen, speak to we as the vendors and everything, you know. So that would be nice if he coming back, I don't know. But I know most times when the government change, they just change the commissioner of police, they just change the governor general, and you know, the prime minister, the commissioner say that he doing things different. So Mr. Scott, I mean, anything that you can be surprised.
No, I'm not upset about it, but I mean, they need to speak to the Grenadian people and let them know.
That's right. Tell us what's going on, because, I mean, this is the country, and this is people we concern about. You have to let us know, you know, what is going on, right? And I heard you want I just come in here saying they think they assets who have plenty money and property and things. They say
but strange. Remember, Cammy, back in 2014 when Dr. Mitchell did his declaration, he said openly, he said, I'm not afraid to say it, I have $19 million.
Yes, I remember.
And so,
I'm not living in Grenada, you know.
Yeah, but now...
I'm not so bright like some of them, but I'm a very good listener with the politicians over the years in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember the time when Dr. Mitchell tell them what he had, you know. So let me wait and see what the others going to come out and say what they have. If they don't have, they just don't have. They just say, well, I don't have nothing, because I don't have a dollar in the bank. You understand? I don't have a dollar in the bank, so I can't say I have money in the bank and I have how much acres of land and this and that. So they have to tell us. They will tell us. So let me wait and see. Let's wait and listen.
Yeah.
But I ain't seen nothing really happening. Everybody jumping up about the pension and they get their money, all kind of thing they getting on with.
But that's good.
That may cause them to get pension money.
But
they
that's
don't want to accept that.
But Cammy,
because of the help of Dr. Mitchell.
Let me ask.
Oh God.
Cammy, let me ask you a question. Hold a minute, huh?
Yes, sir.
Cammy,
I'm holding on, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Now,
yes, sir.
I know you.
If I could answer the question,
you could.
I will try to answer.
I know you can.
Yes,
you're a person who is in town nearly every day, every week, for the last how many years, right? Even from the days of the White House, right? So,
This is Sir Eric Matthew Gary time.
right. So,
I didn't talk every day because that's where I make my living.
Right.
Yes, let me listen.
so am I wrong when I say that during the months of November, especially from the end of November into December, you always have a lot of activity taking place. People go and buy the linoleum and they fix up their louvers and so that break, and they go and they buy the thing, the building material. So you usually have a lot of activity taking place this time of year?
Hold on, Mr. Scott. Let me tell you something about we Grenadians. We're going soon. We're going with soon. And everybody, you could say most of the people want a hand around November or December.
Exactly.
You go in more than one susu, you take two hands. And you taking one for the Christmas and you taking one for the New Year.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to buy your pen. Last year, I had two susu on. I went to the boss man and them. And I bought the tent only.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the tent only and I pay Rastaman to pay me out since last year November.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I buy the curtains and I buy the cushion cloth. And that was Susuhan money. That is how we Grenadians operate in this country over the years. So it's not the pension money some people shopping with now. They get a Susuhan and they have a Susuhan to get for and coming to like Christmas Eve. So they could shop Christmas Eve. So they can't fool me. They can't watch. They can't make my pressure go up, you know. Joke they make it. That's how we Grenadians operate, Mr. Scott. I am not saying
that's Caribbean people on a whole. When it
right.
comes to this time of year.
I am not saying, Mr. Scott, that some people get a little pension money.
Yeah.
And they give their family something to go and do a little shopping, to buy a piece of carpet, to buy a stove. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But people go in there susu to shop for Christmas, and people that walk in the road. You understand? People that cut in the bush in, they depend on that money to buy the curtains, buy the ham. People have a little money tie up, and your family now in England and America and Canada, they always send a little change for you too. And they send a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So you get something. And family you never hear from. For years, when around that time, they think of you, they send an envelope. Anybody coming out, they send a 50 US, they send a few pounds. So don't let them making people feel because of the pension money. Even if they didn't get the pension, they're a shop filled with a little money they are tied up. Because we are tied with the money for Christmas. Grenadians love this Christmas. So I don't bother with them with that. You know? I don't bother with them. They can't tie me up with that. And it's just sad that some people wouldn't have that amount of money to shop for this Christmas. Because of the little bushing, and they couldn't go in Susu and all them kind of things. And some again is out of a job. I really don't like as they send home people. That's something I have a big gripe with. I don't like that. Better they remove them people, put them somewhere else, keep them working. You don't do that to people because we have family. We have, some people have their rent to pay. Some people have to pay court. And when you have the interest go, it's more money they got to pay. So I don't know. I don't know who advising the ministers or advising the prime minister. I don't know if that man does sleep good at night. I don't know. I have asked myself the question. You understand? I ask myself a lot of questions. If they don't sleep, if they don't think about people, because they don't hear people speaking. They listen to your program. They listen to you program. They listen to Master Carl program. They listen to people talking. The gossipers just call them and tell them what people say. And I want to know if they sleep good, if they have a good meal, and they eat and say, well, I wonder if some people eat or drink. You know? It's just sad. It's just sad what is happening. And I would like to think about it and change the plans of sending home young people. Young people. That is what I'm very concerned about. Right? That is what I would like to see. that they don't send home the people, the young people, because frustration make you do a lot of things that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes,
when
indeed.
you're frustrated.
So we know for a fact that
Yes,
this time of year, tongue does be busy.
Yes.
So you know that is why they pay the pension now, because they paid they could have paid the pension 2-3 months ago. You know, they had all the information already because the new National Party had a secretariat already in place. People were already bringing the information in. So when they were talking about they create secretariat, they lie. There was already a secretariat. They could have paid 3 months ago. The money was there.
Mr. Scott, you see Grenadians when you're at the shop, they come and leave. They leave some of the bags by me and they give me a $5.
Mm-hmm.
People bring the things and they rest it and they go back and shop. And then because they take in the Sutters bus, they take in the golf bus, you make an extra $5. But nobody does have to leave bag yet by me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting to see maybe next week.
Okay.
Maybe next week.
All right,
because
Kami.
some people might get paid and they go come and do a shopping and they do something. Anyhow, Grenadians, my body will be on Tuesday next week. You understand?
Bonja, making a pass. I go make a pass.
I can't do nothing this year. I won't like you.
That nothing. I still pass it. I still pass
You
it.
pass and, I get a hug or whatever.
Yes.
But every year when I feel my body, I always bad to place I can't do that this year. In line for nobody. Things are nice. I have to squeeze my money to pay my water bill because I want my water.
Yes.
That is important.
Not the transformation water.
I want my current. You understand?
All right, Kami.
Allow me to say good night to Miss Yolande, also, and also to her mom, and also to Mr. David. I love him with all my heart. Dr. Kit Mitchell, good night, boss. I'm a boy. I know you don't like to hear that. That is really some of the pressure. I love Dr. Kit. You know why I love him, Sherlon? He just show me love. So if people don't want to give me a ride with me soul food, he's picking me up with me soul food and drop me home.
Of
Have
course.
a good night, Grenada.
All right, my love.
Now you can't stop that. Mr. Watts and Patricia and Miss Yolan, everybody, Yolan Smith, good night to you, sweetheart. I love you all, guys. And I don't hate nobody, eh? Sherlock,
All right.
I don't hate nobody. Because to be honest, I have some NDC supporters that give me a sale every day.
Yes.
I don't hate nobody.
No, we don't hate people because of who they support.
Some people have cussed me so bad and disrespect me, but that's all right. Have a blessed night.
Same to you, Kami. All right. Yes, indeed, folks. Yeah, that is Miss Kami. All right, yeah, and she could tell you. So they schedule a thing and they put it at a point in time because they know that economic activity always, if you're into economics and you look, you realize economic activity always gets a boost around this time of year. Yes, you also get one just before the carnival as well, because people have relatives that may not have been in Grenada for a very long time, and they use that opportunity to come home, see their relatives, and enjoy carnival one time. So there is a bit of economic activity that takes place there as well. The other time you may have some is around Easter time. Again, relatives coming home, and some people just treat Easter as the second Christmas, that sort of thing. But they could have paid 2 and 3 months ago. They wouldn't pay 2 and 3 months ago because they want to say now, the economic activity that you're seeing taking place in Grenada is all because of them. Now, if that was so, you wouldn't have to do an ad to put it out. You wouldn't have to do an ad to put it on radio and circulate it to say that that's the situation. Everybody would have known that that is the situation. All right? So we're not saying that the pension didn't assist some people, but don't try to get that impression. No, don't try to use what normally happens as the excuse to say that is what was going on and that kind of thing. 440-7377, that's the number for you to call on the inside. And 347-329-3101. I always mix up that overseas number. Ever since, I've always mixed up that overseas number in and between. But those are the numbers you can call to get on to the inside of tonight's program. Nice. I just hope nobody ain't go during the budget debate and announce another holiday that do exist or, them kind of thing. Or then say that the funding would be cut for something and then come back and say, no, that is not true or some kind of thing. Or they do announce that they're sending home all the field workers and so, because I'm hearing things, I'm hearing what's going on. All the staff within the Ministry of Youth are here, they're being told, take all the vacation right now. You know what's going on after that, eh? Because at the end of 2008, we had a similar situation, Yeah, remember the news was there, the tape it, everything. All the staff in the Ministry of Youth went home at the end of 2008. But then with the incompetence that you have at the leadership level, both in the ministry and of the country, right now, with that two-tier level of incompetence, they don't know how to utilize that staff. And since they are removing the Imani program from under the Ministry of Youth, they no longer have use for some of the individuals. You don't need Imani supervisors if you don't have Imani. You don't need a Imani coordinator if you don't have Imani. So they have already notified the staff, those who are not under the Public Service Commission, they have already notified them. Whatever vacation you have, take it. So all you know is fire, they go in and fire them. And send home, they go in and send them home. They are about to become part of the Send Home program for the Ministry of Youth staff. They went through it in 2008, and it seems as though they are about to go through it again. They ain't transitioning them into anything else. They're transitioning them into unemployment. And then they will come and say, well, we don't fire nobody, we don't send home anybody, that kind of thing. That's what they will come and say afterwards, eh? But we know better. 4407377. What they should know for them last. You see, I don't know. Don't from party to party. If me all of them go from, man to sell out you need that. So look again, me kind me down. Because I like it. So all you know, Miss Kiami's birthday is next week Tuesday. So all of us we passing by Miss Kiami and give her a big up for she birthday. Eh? Nice. All you hear me? Everybody be passing by Kiami on Tuesday and give her a nice little big up for she birthday. 45 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock, 15 minutes remaining on tonight's program. And let me remind you all of something. Last night I spoke about it and I want to speak about it again because, as I said, Karakou is near and dear to my heart. That situation in Karakou in relation to the houses, that play these people playing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Remember what happened the last time. Remember what happened the last time. The late Elvin Nimrod, prior to the 2008 general election, distributed land to several people in Karakou. A lot of people. There was a ceremony, they got the letters, they got the land and so. After winning the general election, what did the NDC do? They came in and they took back the land from all these people that got the letters. They take it back from the people. Grenadian citizens who were given land by the Grenadian government, not by a foreign power who don't own it. They were given the lands by the Grenadian government, and it was taken back from them by the last NDC administration. Now we're seeing a replay. We're seeing the .22 version. The last one was the 08 version. Now we're seeing the 22 version, and that's the right way to say it. The 22 version is what we're seeing right now. In that prior to the last election, several individuals were given the documents that you have been selected for this apartment. You need to go to Nawasa, get your water connected. You need to go to Grenlec, get your electricity connected. Many of them were able to get the water connected. Electricity seemed to be a little more problematic. They didn't get it done in time before the election. Now you're hearing, we can't give out the houses. It's not giving out the houses. The houses have already been given out by the last administration. They've already been given out. We have video of those houses being given out. We have speeches being given when those houses were being given out. But they were sitting on the side and saying, them people feel like getting them place, they feel like going and stay inside there. Lie, they lie. They ain't going to go inside there at all. That was the attitude of these individuals, because now is a problem in Karaku for the people who have already been selected and given those houses to get the houses. Now that we talk about it and now that we expose it to everybody, Grenadians home and abroad, of what you all are doing wickedly to those people. Because we saw it before. When you all take back the land from them. Your political organization, the NNP give it, the NDC take it away. Now we're seeing it again when it comes to the houses up in Dumfries. The NNP give it, the NDC take it away. The houses themselves may never have been built, you know, had the NDC been allowed to continue in office after 2013. Because remember, it was their government that gave up those very same houses. And don't try and tell me it's a different NDC. NDC is NDC. Look on the state boards and tell me if the people on them board and them is not the same NDC and them. Yeah? I think Mr. Sylvester called us on what, about 2 or 3? And there are many other names. I will pull up the list and we will start to talk about that too. Because I've got all the lists at the boards and so that have been put together. And I've got what the Prime Minister said should have taken place in relation to boards. Because still trying to understand how a minister boyfriend end up on a board that she is in charge of. She even say, well, okay, let's put him on a board under another minister, you know. They put him on the board that she's on. And that went to cabinet and get through. Could have never happened under Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, I'll tell you that. That could have never take place under Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Your boyfriend or your girlfriend end up on a board that you in charge of. It wouldn't take place. I'm telling you. There's no way that would have been allowed to happen. Folks, 4407-377. As I said, we've got just about, now we've got about 11 minutes remaining. Final program for the week. Remember, we are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday between the hours of 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. All right, so we are on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If we're doing an extraordinary program during the daytime or something like that, we'll send out a notification and let you all know. But as it is right now, those are the programs that we're doing, all right? Yeah, it's either I'm missing the phone calls or my phone line is messing up again. Let me check. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon, I just come back for a second. Sheldon, what about the houses, boy? Houses that the Chinese built by Leo Pierre and in St. David's and Sotes. You know, it was under NNP. You know, a lot of people are going to these houses for Christmas, you know.
Yeah, they should have been there already.
A lot of people are going there for Christmas. You understand?
But you see,
I don't know.
What they're doing.
I say that people have to reapply again for the houses. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And the next thing, Mr. Scott, if Mr. Martin come back to work, a lot of police don't please, you know. A lot of them don't please that man come back to work there, you know. I mean, all of us is Grenadians. Why? Why we have that hatred and this bitterness? Why we are at bitterness for your own fellow men? Look how the Indians and them in Grenada here, the Syrians, they put in together and buy properties and have stores and have, I mean, we all Grenadians, the end of the day. And it's not only NNP people are you're hurting somebody, own NDC people that apply for the houses. Why
so,
are you doing that?
Kami, I want to go. Yeah, I want to go back into that discussion on the houses. I don't want to leave it before. I don't want the time run out on me before I get into it. So we're gonna talk. Night. All right. Yes, indeed. And oh boy, before I go into it, let me just take that call quickly. Good night.
Yeah, Sheldon.
Hi.
Sorry for joining your program so late.
That's not a problem.
I just get home.
That's not a problem. Go right ahead.
All right. Sheldon, let me tell you something. I have recognized over the years everything that the NNP did in the past, no one of NDC seems to appreciate what the NNP did for this country. Everybody's saying that they have been there and they didn't do nothing. But I want to say to some people tonight, the programs that NNP has instituted to create employment for our Grenadian public, the less fortunate, the NDC is planning to demolish it. And I am saying to them, when you demolish the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. And I've been echoing that a long time now. And I will continue to echo the sentiments of the poor people of this country. And I would not stop until they come to their senses that the NDC is not the party to govern this country in its full entirety. The NNP is the party for the poor and working class of our country. These are the people. And I could call lots of people who put programs. Honorable Kate Lewis on the block program. They demolished that. And I don't want to go into other programs. But I am simply saying,
hello?
give Dickon a chance. And it will ground the economy. It will go back to the days when we have to borrow money. From 2008.
We've got to speed up. We've got to speed up because I've only got about 5 minutes remaining.
Well, I'm finishing now.
Yeah.
And that is what's going to happen.
All right.
The NDC always have the issues. They come and meet a platter, well-rounded, well-grounded, well-programmed, and they ruin it. Someone tell me today that it looked like election will be in 2023 because they're going to get rid of some people who is corrupt and don't abide by the real programs of our country. Poor people is the persons that we have to cater to, and if we don't cater to them, sorry for the NDC. I am saying goodbye to them and good night.
All right, my brother.
Program.
All right. And here's what I have to say in relation to what you just mentioned there before I go back to housing because I've got just a few minutes left. One, whether elections are called sooner or later is not the issue. The issue is you making sure that you get the political work done so you don't end up as the United Workers' Party out there right now in Dominica, that they cannot face the electorate because they are not ready. So, it means therefore that the political work continues at the constituency level, at the polling station, the polling division level, also at the national level. That you don't put down your political work and say that we're going to do that political work when it look like it going and have an election. Because the thing kind of shaky. You don't know if or when one could be called. So it is the responsibility of political activists and political parties to ensure that they are ready. So that, again, you don't get caught with your pants down and breeze blowing your posterior, as happened to another political party next door in Dominica. Make sure that you get the political work done. That you continue your registration process. That you continue your canvassing. That you continue your connectivity with the people in the community. That you continue informing them on the issues, the talking points, taking the talking points and speaking to them about it. And if you do that, you don't have to study them whether they're going and call it in 2022 or 2023 or 2025. Whenever they call it, it is your responsibility as a political organization to make sure that you are ready. All right? Nice. Now, outside of that, I was speaking on the houses, and Cammy did ask the question about the houses here. I saw some cleaning up taking place around the ones in St. David and that kind of thing. For all intents and purposes, those houses should already have been distributed. From my understanding, what is taking place is a cleansing of NNP people from the list. So they're going over the list, and if they find that person is an NNP or used to be an NNP rally or so, the likelihood they will let one or two through, they will let it through one or two to give the impression that, yeah, it's an unbiased list. But as long as you're an NNP supporter or you're connected, they're going through that list with a fine-tooth comb right now and taking out people. Now, you already had a situation where you have about 600 houses and 4,000 people waiting. Instead of saying, let's go over those 4,000 people, why did they reopen the process again? It's only 600. Well, less than that, because the Karakou ones, as far as I'm concerned, are already gone. But instead of doing that, what they have done is say, reopen the process. So you already have 4,000 people. You're going to add more on it again for only 600 that your party in government had given up. And I'll play the audio on that next week, because what them come and say that to a lie. That their party had given up those houses. The same houses they planning, they're going and put a cousin. And they're going and put a nenen in. The same houses they're going and put only their activists in. Because they have a plan and a strategy of what they're going to do. They could have gone ahead and already distributed those houses. But they're using all sorts of fallacious excuses right now so that they don't have to go ahead with it immediately. So be wise and understand what's taking place. Why do you need to reopen the process in Karakou when the houses were already distributed? Unless you're reopening the process for the houses, the one or two, that may have been unoccupied and you want to occupy them. But then people already, you know what it is? You've been dreaming of getting a house, getting an apartment. This is what some people in Karakou have gone through unfairly. You've been dreaming about getting a house. You get a call. You've been selected. You go to the ceremony. You receive your letter. You go, you pay for your water. You pay for your light connection and everything. All you're looking to do is to collect your key and move in. And then somebody come and tell you, well, we in charge now. You can't go inside it. We have to review the thing. We're not sure if you're getting it. Come on, man. Listen, the gates are held too good for some of all you. Folks, that's all the time we have on Talking Points tonight and for this week. It's been wonderful being here. We'll have a rebroadcast of tonight's program taking place on Sunday, God's willing. And remember, Monday is budget day. You need to pay attention. Listen to what is being said. But even more important than Monday is the response by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell on Thursday. Make sure everybody knows that we're going to be paying full attention to the former Prime Minister and Leader of Her Majesty's Opposition when he does his presentation on Thursday morning. Bright and early, we're there. We're locking in from early. We're listening and we're going to share the information. All right? So, folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points. It's been wonderful being here with you tonight. It's been wonderful interacting with you. It's been wonderful speaking with you. It's been wonderful sharing information with you and from you as well. That's all the time we have for tonight. Hopefully next week the Prime Minister will finally see how much money he have. All right? Yeah, I can tell you, I don't have none. My brooks, right? Nice. The Prime Minister will tell us how much money he have when he went to the thing. And when he do that, nice. Yeah, we go say good. We could put him in the same level. Well, we can't put him in the same level as Dr. Keith, but we will say, you know, at least he talk and say how much he have. That's all the time. In whatever you say, whatever you do, do it safe and secure. One of you speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. I am out of here. Good night.
Business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treated us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease.